Marks a very important day in the history of our Mortalen domain. We must decide the fate of the fish people. But first, we want to figure out what this ruin is down here. So let's go looking for the explorer ship down there. Can you tell us? Do you know? He doesn't know. So since I was already aware of these other two ruins, it must be the unidentified one in the middle. So I'll let him do his work. Maybe he'll figure it out, or maybe we need a better scanning level to figure out what that ruin is. I like ruins. They're a good part of this game. I like finding things that are... Oh. Oh, those are real Teekins. Oh. And they have to be close. Like, either they found one of my stations, or one of my ships bumped into them. Well, that's good, I guess. I mean, we wanted to have an aggressive game, and having neighbors this early probably will force that. It does push me in the direction of thinking that troop ships will be our first choice, and that those poor fish people are going to see the bottom of our boot instead of the grasping hand of our friendship. I'm still not 100% certain yet. We really have to have some way of figure. We really have to try to figure out how dangerous those Tekin actually are to us. They could be literally anywhere. They could be like they could be south of us. They could be up the north a little bit, or maybe they're along the east wedge there. We have to find some way to find them though, and we have to make that a priority. We still have no place to colonize yet. Yet another indicator that we may be doing our early colonization with troop ships as opposed to peacefully. We always knew that would be a possibility, though, right? Uh, Maybe they're down here? That seems least likely because there's a lot of big gap between those two systems, between those two nebula. I don't know. I mean, I won't find them this way, but I'm super curious about it. I want to know where they are. Okay, so that's something we're going to have to deal with, maybe, depending on where it is. Where are you? On an asteroid in a system that leads to a place we're probably never going to go. Well, you're probably not a big deal anytime soon then. So I finished that little fight with the pirates, and during my fleet's retrofit, it dropped some ships. It appears that when I told it to refresh those ships thinking they didn't exist, I built a bunch of ships, 5 whole ships that aren't part of any fleet and are just sort of out there existing. Those ships have pushed me into the red. So they're hurting my economy a lot. But I don't think I should just. I don't think it would be a good idea to just scuttle them. That would be a waste. Trouble is, without vastly changing my tech intent for the first part of the game, I'm not going to be able to fix my economy very easily to make up for that. It should slowly over time get a little bit better as the population grows, and it's not that much, but it is hurting my science. The idea I had, though, is that we can retrofit these guys so that they have longer range once the next couple of techs come in, and then we can just use them. Just crash that. We'll just use them to fight stuff, which will naturally cause some attrition in my fleets, which we'll replace with the ships that I have on hand. Hopefully, hopefully we'll do fine until then. I think we will. I don't think it's going to be that big a problem. we're not losing that much money, but it does suck for science. It really does. I don't have a lot of ways right now to solve this problem, which is why I'm kind of just going to let it play out and hopefully use some of those ships up with military engagements. I don't have a faster way to get a second colony. I don't have any colony prospects anyway. My second colony is going to definitely be those Actarians, and I'm pretty convinced that it's going to be easier for me to conquer them than it is going to be for me to make colony ships, especially since I'm going to have to deal with those Teekins anyway. The reality of our situation has pretty much put us into a place where there's no point in pretending anymore that we're going to be using peaceful means to expand, at least not for a while. So I'm just going to put the techs I need to get in order to move up the colonization, occupation of the fish people, because occupying the fish people is going to be necessary for my economy to really stabilize to the point where I don't have problems like the one I do right now anymore. That means shifting all this stuff around and putting those techs at the top. Okay, basic transports and go. I really, 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 really wish I knew where the Teekin's homeworld was. At least now I can see some of their space, though. That helps. Yeah, I gotta fix the problem with the range on our ships if we're gonna use any of them to clear out this stuff. But I don't think I can do that until the next text comes through. The uh, the fusion reactor tech. I don't think I should do that until the fusion reactor tech comes through, because there's not a lot of changes I can make until we see whether or not crew or space is improved with that new technology. So we have another problem that I haven't talked about yet that I see no solution for because of how far our tech advancements are off. We have no silicon source. And it's going to start mattering soon. Our only silicon source is trading with the neutrals, and if we conquer them, I don't know where their silicon is coming from. I don't know if it's coming from their planet. I mean, I guess I could check that, but I don't think I've fully scanned it yet. Yeah, this isn't the first game I've had where silicon has been a problem. Okay, so now that we have an idea of where these are, I should grab a ship where these Teekins are. Now that we have an idea where these Teekins are, I should grab an exploration ship and use it as a scout. I don't usually like to scout. I tend to like to clear full systems. Efficiency be damned. But in a situation like this, I think it's pretty essential. Okay, we can just crash that. I think it's pretty essential that we start sending a scout out to actually look at those systems. Before we do that, though, let's do those military ship upgrades. Let's see if anything here has changed. I really need a fuel cell. My crew requirements has gone down quite a lot, which means we can take off one of our basic crew systems and replace it with a fuel cell. I really feel like that's the best we can do right now. So hopefully that will help those ships reach further, because I can't really see anything else that's possible. I mean, I could take the energy capacitors out, but that would make them super expensive. Super expensive to maintain when they're just sitting around. Might as well do the incidental upgrades on the other kinds of ships while we're in here. Get into the habit of not forgetting to do this stuff. We don't need to rush them in, but they'll come in on their own when they have nothing else to do. Nothing to really change on either ship, which is what I expected. All right. So yeah, back to scouting this area of space so that we can see if we can find the Teekins. They're probably, I'm guessing they're more likely to be up in the cluster than they are to be down in the pits. So let's just, there we go, this guy. Let's just send him to scout the stars on our border. Go ahead, boy. You could do it. The Brave Lost Journey. Kind of a nice name. Hopefully it's not a prediction. Teekins usually aren't that militaristic though, so I don't think scouting their space is going to be much of a threat to our explorer. I don't know if I should have went in deeper or if it's better to do my borders, but yeah. It looks like there's got to be a colony around here someplace, because they've pushed their area control so far down here. It makes me think that maybe there's a colony in this next star or the one down there below. I don't know though. It's all guesses. Well, I just realized that Lost Journey has no fuel, which means I guess Lost Journey's mission to scout the Tekin border zone is going to just fall all apart already. That's really too bad. I was hoping to find out more, but I should have paid more attention. This would have been much less of a problem if I had noticed first. This station doesn't have any fuel. Um, wait, that's not the independent world. The independent world is the one up there. If I'd realized this at the beginning, I could have sent them in to do this refueling when they still had lots of fuel, and it wouldn't have taken literally forever. Now they're stuck. I suppose I could build a transport ship, but I don't really think that, even though my economy is now in the white again, I can afford to do that. It appears that the biggest thing that's going to make this game a challenge is overcoming myself. We still have no silicon. Don't know what I expected to change. We don't have a lot of exploration ships out. Probably should put more exploration ships out. We're in a really bad position when it comes to exploration of the style I usually do, because all the stars are so far away. So let's just crash the last tech. No. What? that's that's not right. We don't want to cancel it. We want to crash it. Thank you. Yeah, we do not have that much of a great position in which to expand, and we do not have colony ships yet. So I think conquering the Teekins, and then maybe those Boscarans up there, is going to be our direction of progress. I have kind of floundered three things that have put this game into a sort of frozen position. I know what those three things are, and I know how to solve them. These guys don't have any troops. I wonder how many troops I'm going to actually need to make this happen. But none of that stuff is going to happen soon. The stuff that I need to solve this, it's all going to be things that have to happen over time. Hopefully not too much time. Because we're getting to be quite a long way into the game, and we haven't made nearly as much progress as I should have. We're only going to keep 3 garrisons on the planet. I don't know if I should build more of these now or wait till later. Three might even be enough, but probably won't be. Well, we can wait till the ships are available before we make that decision finally. So I guess my forward momentum with this game is going to be building a fleet that can actually withstand the Teekins. I wonder what's in these asteroids. Then landing troops on their planets and using that as my push. It's going to be quite a while unless I can stabilize my economy in some other way before I can colonize normally, and I still haven't found any colonization planets yet anyway. That's telling me I probably should be putting out more exploration ships. But again, my economy has not stabilized to the point where I'm comfortable building a bunch of new ships. Hopefully we can go and attack whatever's in that system up there. Find the pirate base that we can see is clearly there, and whatever is in that asteroid belt, and that will help us to get rid of some of the ships we don't need. These guys are all still doing tasks or retrofitting. Yeah, I don't think we're going to take anybody off their task to continue the scouting. I think the scouting will just have to wait. We've seen enough of the Teekan border to have an idea of where they have to be. Oh, the Teekans are now present. Wait, no, that's just the partially explored color. That's not the Teekan borders. And we're ready to build those transport ships. Don't really need to do much with these. Just need to give them an aim. And then I think like venomous spit, like lizards spitting acid, because the troops are the acid that we're spitting at the planet, right? Right? Yeah. There's not much you could do with these guys at the beginning. There's no point in making them that like militaristically strong because they need to. They're basically going to have to be supported by ships that can actually fight for them because they're pretty pathetic. And we don't want them to. Yeah, we don't want them to fight too much anyway because we don't want to lose the troops that are on them. Those troops are a pretty big investment. Okay. Battle looks good. Now let's design a fleet. The fleet's probably just going to be at this point 2 transport ships and a couple of escorts. Yeah, my fleet should go out and attack all that stuff now that they have the range. Right. So we're going to design a fleet. We're going to call it Assault Wedge. consist of 5 escorts and 2 troop transports, which should be plenty for this first mission, and we can make it bigger once we see what we have to deal with the Teekins and what we actually need to start invading planets. We want to form this from ships that already exist at our main starbase, because that will gobble up those 5 ships that have just been sitting there. Looks like we're not going to be scrapping them after all. They're going to make the basis of our transport ship fleet. Our fleet has engaged what looks like just like a handful of little ships, like pirate ships in the asteroid belt. I don't know what that was. Well, whatever it is, we wrecked it. It's gone now. Threat eliminated. Now, you are still not refueled yet. Soon, though. Soon. Okay, you're ready. Let's load those soldiers onto the transports. We are now in the last few free days of the independent colony of fish people. Once these troops are fully loaded, we'll give them a general, and once we give them a general, the attack will be underway. And with that, I'm pretty convinced it's time to mop up our military engagements and to conquer the fish people. It's done then. It's done. The Third Fleet is on its way to invade the fish people. We do have to remember to put a general in there, though, because we seem to have forgotten him. So let's just do that now. And head over to deal with those pirates. Where is our fleet exactly in this system? I'm lost. Okay, so we killed the stuff here, and our fleet's no longer there. Oh, there's still some people here. That appears to be a construction ship repairing a damaged ship. Fine. All right. There it is. It's not terribly strong, which is great. It means we can just fight it right away without any worries. We want the Second Fleet to do the fight, and we want the First Fleet to hopefully go home and get repairs. Can't set it to auto fight because it doesn't seem to be on the list. Second Fleet. Attack. Done. Wrecking our first pirate base. Pretty sure they'll be fine because they'll be able to just immediately refuel in this system. Kind of excited. Kind of excited. Well, he's drove off our point ship. But we've got this. This isn't going to be much of a problem. Shields and armor are basically being torn down really fast. Which is what we would expect from a ship that's only about 500 strength against a fleet that's twice as strong. There we go. Pirate menace destroyed. Well, that's exciting. I wonder how well the fleet is doing at... the transport ships are doing at Fish World Planet. I probably should start to make an effort to remember the name of that planet, since it's going to be our Fish World soon. And there it is, successfully conquered Fish World Planet. Probably should have been watching the troop battle, but I don't really enjoy watching them that much. And I pretty much was sure that we would have no trouble. Alright. Our biggest problem now is the fact these people are going to hate us for a while. And them hating us has, as one would expect, put our economy right back into the red. But that's fine. At least having a second colony that hates us gives us a path towards a better economy in the future. And the presence of Actarians in our empire, once they have completely assimilated, will give us a source of people to live on a much wider set of colonies. And that wider set of colonies will mean we can expand through colonization once we've dealt with those pesky Teekans. 100% sure we're going to continue on this militaristic push. We're going to take advantage of the fact that there's Teekans right on our borders this early in the game to hopefully conquer some more worlds. Teekans really aren't that useful a secondary race for Mortalens. Their colonization choices are just way too similar to ours. But population is good, and we have to assume that they have at least one good colony in their home world that will eventually develop into a strong world for us later in the game when we need big colonies with big quality. With that, I think we're done for today. Next time, we're going to try to push into Teekan territory and maybe start our first war. Hope to see you then.